Alright, let's just jump into it. So, what's going on in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York City right now? Well, it's been a wild week for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD for short. 3 major HUD field offices have slammed their doors shut. Why? Not because of budget cuts, but because of violent anti-ICE riots and protests that have erupted across these cities. Let's rewind for a quick second. Weeks ago, some prominent Democratic reps, think Maxine Waters and Rashida Tlaib, were warning that the Trump administration was going to close HUD offices permanently. They claimed this was all part of some new government efficiency push. HUD Secretary Scott Turner, he called that fake news. In fact, he fired back, blaming the Democrats for stoking division and, according to him, encouraging the very riots that have now forced these temporary closures. Here's the timeline. It all kicked off in Los Angeles on Friday, June 6th. Federal law enforcement started carrying out massive immigration raids, part of President Trump's campaign promise to ramp up deportations. That move sparked some serious outrage. Crowds took to the streets. We're talking rocks thrown at officers, stores looted, cars, including those new fancy Waymo self-driving ones, set on fire, and even parts of the freeway taken over. Graffiti popped up everywhere. Messages like FK ICE and Death to America were scrawled right by the HUD field office. And this wasn't a one-off. As the violence grew, the White House responded with force. President Trump deployed 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles, with hundreds of Marines joining them just days later. But here's where it gets even messier. This whole thing had been brewing for months. Back in March, Maxine Waters actually led a protest to HUD headquarters, hand-delivering a letter to Secretary Turner. She was demanding answers about those rumored office closures, and apparently things got a little heated, shouting matches and all. By April, Waters was publicly warning that shutting down 34 field offices would throw federal housing programs into chaos and threaten hundreds of jobs nationwide. So when these riots broke out and offices closed, not for policy reasons but for safety, well, the finger-pointing started. Local leaders weren't exactly on board with the federal crackdown either. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and California Governor Gavin Newsom both slammed the immigration raids, promising support for immigrants in their state. At this point, it's a standoff. HUD says they never closed a single office for good, only temporary shutdowns for safety. But the debate's far from over. Fox News reached out to Waters and Tlaib for comment on the closures, but as of now, there's radio silence. So what does this all mean? On one side, you've got officials saying office closures are just a safety measure, nothing permanent. On the other, critics argue that heavy-handed immigration enforcement is tearing communities apart and putting vital services at risk. Either way, the reality is this: politics, protests, and public safety have collided yet again. HUD offices in 3 of the country's biggest cities are closed for now, leaving federal housing programs in limbo, and a lot of people demanding answers. Let me know what you think about these closures and the ICE controversy in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for updates on the latest news. Stay informed, stay safe.